They say the loudest man in the room is the weakest. And if you've ever seen someone who truly commands respect, you already know. Real power doesn't need noise. It doesn't need validation. It doesn't need to explain itself. Real power is calm. It's focused. And most of all, it's silent. The man who speaks less, but listens more. The woman who doesn't flinch under pressure. The person who doesn't need the spotlight because they carry their power within. That's who this video is for. We're constantly told that to win in life, you have to hustle louder, market harder, and dominate the room. But the Stoics, the quiet masters of control and clarity, taught the opposite. They believe that strength is rooted in silence, discipline, and mental precision. And once you tap into that inner power, you no longer need to shout. You simply show up, and people feel the weight of your presence. So if you've ever felt overwhelmed, emotionally reactive, or just tired of the noise, this is your blueprint for becoming unshakable. Before we dive in, do one quick thing. Subscribe to the channel. It takes less than a second, and it helps spread these timeless lessons to those who are ready to rise. Hit the like button if you're ready to master the quiet power most people will never understand. Now let's break down the 5 Stoic tactics that will make you sharper, calmer, and completely in control, even in a world addicted to chaos. Tactic 1. Pause before you respond. The Stoics believe that the space between stimulus and response is where your freedom lives. When something happens, someone insults you, a deal falls through, a plan collapses, most people react. Instantly, emotionally. They speak too soon, act too fast, and end up making things worse. But you train yourself to pause. Not forever. Not passively. Just long enough to see clearly. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are disturbed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment." That pause, even one breath, is a reset button. It allows you to regain clarity before emotion takes the wheel. It's in that silence that power builds. While others are flailing, shouting, or defending themselves, you stay still. And from that stillness, you choose your next move, not based on ego, not on fear, but on strategy. Pausing doesn't mean doing nothing. It means doing the right thing, at the right moment. Not because you were provoked, but because you were composed. This single tactic alone, practiced consistently, will set you apart in every room. Tactic 2. Say less, mean more. Most people talk to fill the silence. The Stoic talks to fill a purpose. When you speak less, people listen more. Your words carry weight because they're rare and deliberate. Epictetus said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." He wasn't being poetic. He was giving you a power move. Think about it. The more you talk, the more likely you are to expose your emotions, your insecurities, your lack of clarity. But when you hold your words like a sword, sharp, precise, used only when necessary, you gain instant respect. In conversation, in business, in conflict, silence is leverage. It's not about being mysterious for show. It's about listening deeply, reading the room, and waiting until your message can land with force. Use your words like a Stoic. Speak when it improves the silence. Tactic 3. Master stillness in chaos. Stillness in chaos is not just a luxury, it's a weapon. In the modern world, chaos is the default setting. Notifications ping, news breaks, expectations pile up. And the majority of people? They sprint from one emotional reaction to the next, constantly triggered, constantly chasing the next thing. They live in a mental storm and never realize it's optional. But the Stoic learns to stand still in that storm. Not because they're numb, not because they don't feel, but because they refuse to be ruled by every passing wave of emotion. That's real stillness. Not just quiet on the outside, but silence on the inside. When you walk into a room full of panic, and you're the only one not rattled, people notice. They lean in. They want to follow the person who doesn't lose their head when the pressure rises. That's leadership. That's control. And it starts with training stillness before the chaos arrives. You don't become calm by accident. You become calm by design. Daily silence is your training ground. Set a timer. Sit in a chair. No music. No scrolling. No stimulation. Just you and your thoughts. At first, it will be loud. Your mind will scream. Your body will twitch. Your emotions will bubble. But if you sit long enough, something powerful happens. The noise dies. Clarity emerges. The Stoics called this returning to the inner citadel. It's the mental stronghold that cannot be breached. It's the space no one else has access to, unless you hand them the keys. When you master this inner place, stress still happens, but it doesn't own you. People still test you, but they don't move you. You feel deeply, but you're not controlled by the feeling. This is not just philosophical. It's practical. Imagine you're in a high-stakes meeting. Someone criticizes your work. You feel the heat rise, the urge to defend yourself. But instead of reacting, you pause. You say nothing. You breathe. That moment of stillness shifts everything. It gives you time. It gives you control. It gives you authority. Now expand that to all areas of your life. Relationships, conflict, business, health. The person who stays grounded has the advantage everywhere. They don't just respond better. They see more clearly. And clarity? That's power. Stillness is your amplifier. It strengthens every other tactic. The pause becomes easier. Your words become cleaner. Your presence becomes sharper. People trust you not because you're loud, but because you're unshakable. And in a world addicted to emotional chaos, that's a rare force. A force people follow. A force people remember. So practice your stillness daily. Make it your baseline. And when the world spins faster, you'll move slower. Not because you're behind, but because you're ahead in ways most people will never understand. The world is loud. It's built to provoke you. Outrage sells. Panic spreads. Weak minds chase drama. Strong ones create stillness. The third Stoic tactic is cultivating inner stillness, even when everything around you is falling apart. Imagine you're in a crisis meeting. Everyone's losing their heads. Accusations flying. Emotions boiling. You say nothing. Not because you're frozen, but because you're focused. This is where you practice what the Stoics called ataraxia, a lucid state of calm under pressure. Stillness doesn't mean indifference. It means control. You can still act, still decide, still lead, but you do it without letting panic fog your vision. To train this, sit in silence for 10 minutes a day. No music, no phone, just you and your thoughts. Let your mind settle. Feel the noise rise, and let it pass. Over time, your baseline changes. What used to shake you becomes background noise. And in that silence, you become dangerous in the best way. Tactic 4. Control the face, control the room. They say the face is the mirror of the mind, but the Stoic doesn't let that mirror crack. In fact, a Stoic uses the face not as a canvas of uncontrolled emotion, but as a controlled expression of command. And here's the truth. Most people lose power the second their face starts talking louder than their words. Facial expressions are one of the most immediate, unconscious forms of communication. The raised eyebrow, the tightening jaw, the shifting eyes. These tiny leaks send powerful messages before you ever open your mouth. If you walk into a room tense, flustered, anxious, it shows. Even if your words are polished, your face betrays you. You're exposed. Now flip that. Imagine someone walks into the room, silent, composed, eyes steady, face unreadable, but not cold, just collected. They don't need to perform. They don't need to fake a smile. Their stillness does the talking. That person instantly commands the room. Why? Because they radiate control. And control is rare. Control is respected. The Stoics trained this deeply. They believed your outward posture and expression should reflect the inner fortress you build over time. It's not about becoming robotic. It's about mastering what you reveal, when you reveal it, and why. You choose when to show emotion. Not because you're hiding, but because you've earned the ability to filter what serves your purpose and what doesn't. Modern psychology backs this up. Leaders who can hold neutral or calm expressions under pressure are perceived as more competent, trustworthy, and authoritative. Why? Because they're seen as stable, as grounded, as unshaken when others would break. The face, especially the eyes, communicates your internal state. If your eyes dart around when you're questioned, if your lips twitch when challenged, if your expression shifts with every comment, you're not in control. You're being controlled. Now imagine practicing the opposite. Eye contact that's calm, not aggressive. A steady face during criticism. No twitch, no smirk, no flinch. Just presence. That silence speaks volumes. It says, I'm not here to prove anything. I'm already rooted. I don't react. I calculate. This is especially powerful in negotiations, high-pressure discussions, or any moment where perception is influence. When others overexpress, you underreact. When they seek validation through their expression, you maintain stillness, and that stillness dominates. Start small. Practice during small conversations. In the mirror, in moments of frustration, notice your face. Ask yourself, am I leaking emotion, or am I holding steady? Build awareness first, then build discipline. Over time, your face becomes an extension of your mindset. Not a liability, but an asset. In a world where everyone's expressions scream for attention, you'll be the one who moves through life quietly, calmly, commanding without effort. Because the one who controls their face controls the room. Your face tells people more than your words ever will. Emotional leakage, that twitch of anger, that glare, that nervous smile, it gives away your power. The Stoics mastered what modern psychologists call non-reactive expression. They didn't fake being emotionless. They trained themselves not to leak emotion. You don't need to smile to be friendly. You don't need to frown to be serious. You simply need to hold your face steady, your gaze clean, your energy clear. In rooms where others are performing, you radiate presence. Your posture becomes a message. Your eyes become an anchor. People read your calm, and they instinctively trust or fear it, depending on which side of truth they stand. Train your face like a warrior trains his shield. Don't let it crack just because the world is watching. Tactic 5. Be present, but not available. This final tactic separates the average from the formidable. Most people are too available, too quick to respond, too eager to explain, too reactive to every beep, notification, or comment. The Stoic operates differently. He is fully present, aware, grounded, focused, but rarely accessible. Presence is power, but availability is vulnerability. You must decide who gets access to your time, your energy, and your attention. You protect your mental space like it's your kingdom, because it is. You don't chase. You don't explain yourself endlessly. You don't feel the need to answer every ping. You operate in your own time, from your own center. And because you are selective, people begin to value your presence. Because it's not scattered, it's intentional. There's a kind of power that doesn't raise its voice. It doesn't perform. It doesn't announce itself. It walks in quietly and everything changes. That power lives in silence, in precision, in self-mastery. And the Stoics gave us the blueprint. If you start applying these 5 tactics, pausing before you respond, saying less with more weight, staying still under chaos, mastering your facial expressions, being present but not always accessible, you'll begin to notice something. People treat you differently. You feel calmer, sharper, more grounded. You stop chasing approval. You stop reacting to noise. You start commanding rooms, not with force, but with presence. And in that shift, you gain something rare, real power. The kind that lasts. The kind that doesn't fade when the noise gets louder. If this message spoke to something deep inside you, don't just move on. Subscribe to the channel right now. Hit the bell icon. It takes less than a second, and you'll stay connected to this journey. The one where you become mentally bulletproof, quietly powerful, and untouchable from the inside out. Let the world stay noisy. Let others keep reacting. You train in silence. Because real power doesn't have to shout.